all right. Peace to the family. We should be live right now. Thank you to everyone for your patience. It's going to be a great show as usual. Shout out to everybody who's been tuned in, who's tuned in last night. Tuned in Monday. What's today? Wednesday? I think I've been live.
Yeah, 3 days.
Yeah. I've been live the past 3 days. Yeah, okay. So yeah, shout out to everybody who's been hanging in there with me, getting this information. Always a diverse range of information. Today will be no different. About to bring on my guest with a topic that everybody seems to be talking about on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. And I'm like, what the hell is going on with this these cicadas? I hope I'm saying it right. The brother's gonna tell me, but let me get to a commercial real quick, family. Get comfortable. I'm gonna bring the brother back on in a second, and we're gonna get this thing started and see what all this talk is about. All right.
Right.
Give me 1 second. Where my if we get this commercial from King Simon.
Numerovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You could also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You could also get my books on Amazon at Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the Numerovator.
All right. And we are live. Without further ado, family, I want to welcome back to the platform. He hasn't been on since I think last year. He was on last year. My brother Kwame Sunhorse. Kwame, let them see you, brother. We can't see you. Let's see. He got a presentation he's gonna show on his TV. That's why he showed that. Kwame, what's happening, brother?
Oh man, it's been a minute, Rich. I appreciate love you, man, for allowing me to do this because Spirit is guided and saying we get in this frequency, and it's about the great shifting that's going on.
Right.
And so what Spirit said is that nobody's speaking about the cicadas. Everybody's seeing them, hearing it, and doing with it. But what does this really mean with them coming up? The broods, all three broods are coming up. The 13-year brood, the 17-year brood, and the 20-year brood. And this hasn't happened in 221 years.
Yeah.
And so in 221 years ago, that was in 1803. In 1803, this country was basically all on the east side of the Mississippi River. 1803, May and June was the Congress that Thomas Jefferson was president.
Right.
Jefferson was negotiating with Napoleon because Napoleon was getting his butt whooped in I-80. That was the part. This is where they bought the Louisiana Purchase. Everything Mississippi was bought in 1803 when these cicadas were out in this magnitude. And so now here we are in 2024 in this 8th year. And now we're having the same frequency coming about and coming alive. Because, see, the cicadas, it has a very powerful spiritual meaning. That means is that little insect goes and stays in the earth after this mating season. What it's going to do is that the male begins to brood and beating his drums. He's got like two little, they call them diamels. Diamel is like on the back of his wings, and what he's able to do is to vibrate them maybe from 300 to 400 beats a second. And what he creates is this vibration. And in that vibration, that they have been able to now record that vibration and be able to give that vibration to what frequency is at. And cicadas vibrate in their mating frequency at 6 hertz. We going around here with 5G. They're at 6G. So in that part of that part of, I don't want to go too far ahead, but that's the frequency in which we're hearing in that what we call it like white noise.
What brainwave frequency would that be?
Data.
Data. Wow.
Data. And this is what's so important about theta, because theta is that in between. Theta is calming and that part of consciousness that we need to be in. And so what we're doing now, since they started in May, I'll be going all the way up to June. They started from the southern part of here, all up the East Coast. And so the thing that the main hub of it is going to be there in Illinois and Kentucky, Indiana, going on up. It's coming all the way up to where you are. But see, the thing that's happening in DC, they already announced it. They have not had cicadas come up since Jefferson was president. Because look at something. All of that land that used to be land where they would live at and be at has been covered over, has been built on, and has been basically disconnected us as a people from the earth. And these cicadas come because they bring that frequency, that theta frequency. And so what they began to do when they are in the trillions, they're not billions or millions or billions, they're in the trillions when they come up in these pods come up, the 3 pods come up together. And so what you're having is a trillion cicadas are sending this theta wave. And the thing I did this morning when I got up about 5:30, I went outside and I waited, because as soon as the sun's frequency, it don't even get daylight. Once they feel the frequency of the sun, they begin the song. As soon as the sun starts to go, you see at night here in Georgia, as soon as the sun go down, what happens? They turn off. It's because they're tuned to the sun's rhythm or frequency. So when the sun rise, they begin their transmission of the theta waves. And the theta waves are a wave in which people are moving through and receiving, but it's also dealing with your consciousness. It's dealing with your body's frequency, because you're not having to do like you can go get a 432 app, or you can get a theta app and you have to program it and turn it on. This turns on by the sun, it turns off by the sun. It's a natural. And see, this is the part of divine intelligence and the artificial intelligence. See, and this is what you got to look at. And this part of, remember I told you I was putting together this piece. It's called DI on TI versus AI causing MI. And this whole thing is divine intelligence on Turtle Island, because that was the last time I was on when you wanted me to talk about Turtle Island. And on Turtle Island, we're being bombarded with this artificial intelligence, because when the cicadas, before they come up and they first go down and stay to 13, 8, 17, and 20 years, they go down as a nymph, a little bitty thing, and they stay in the earth, feeding off of the roots and the sugars and the microbials in the earth for 13, 17, 20 years. And see, the thing for that is that in that vibrational period that they're underground, the fascinating insects captures the human imagination of millenniums, appearing in mythology, folklore, and spiritual traditions around the world. From the ancient Greece, because the theta and the Greek letter is the 8th alphabet. And this is what theta, see if I can change this. Go back. All right, because see what we're getting now, I'm gonna have to go to the screen.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Let's do this. I'm liking this, brother. I hope y'all tune in. Come on,
get it right. All right, and see what the cicadas are doing. They're coming up because you may be called deeply into your spiritual meaning. What is your spiritual meaning? What is this body that you've come here and you're dealing with? Because this little thing goes and he turns around and he sheds his skeleton. He sheds that whole body, his whole exoskeletal sheds off of him, and he turns around and leaves those shells, and you see them everywhere, because the cicadas are calling us. It's time for transformation and change. And they're giving us the frequency by also living in the tree energy. In the forest is the first community. And so what we're seeing now is we're getting what we call, I don't know if you're familiar with forest bathing. And forest bathing is when the trees is something that's called phytonicides. Phytonicides is what the trees emit from their leaves. The pine trees, the oak trees, the maple tree, all of them emit an aromatherapy. Plus, you get the part of the tree and its representation.
Oh man, damn! I was enjoying it.
Go ahead.
No, good, brother. I'm enjoying it.
Okay, and so in that part of
Let me fix this.
Getting this energy, the thing that's happening with it is that we are getting rebooted because they've stayed down there eating the microbial. Why you think everybody's going to the mushrooms and the psychotropics is because the wood wide web is under the ground. This
Facts.
is where they're coming from the wood wide web. And in them coming up the wood wide web.
Wood wide web.
Because what? The wood wide web is for what? Rebirth and transformation. The cicada is a unique life cycle and is a powerful metaphor for the spiritual transformation, spending years underground in a nymph state. Cicadas emerge dramatically, shedding their exoskeleton to unfurl their wings, just like the butterfly in the cocoon. Unfurl their wings to take flight. This mirrors our own potential to emerge from dormant or challenging periods, experiencing a rebirth and growth. Underground silence. And this is the part of going within. We're not going underground, we're going within, going into the innerverse.
Right.
This is what I was saying about the frequency. This is the part where they did the experiment and seeing how high of a frequency software application authenticity was used to analyze the cicada recording. The Hanning window-based spectrum analysis was applied to the recording, a frequency analysis plot of a recorded brood X. And brood X, Rich.
Yep, I'm in.
You know what brood X is called?
What?
Magic cicada.
Oh yeah.
Magic cicada. So
dope.
They call it magic cicada. That's the one that brood X or the 10th brood.
Oh yeah.
In 3 in the show in figure 5, although the measured cicada sounds have a broad frequency range, and see it even goes up to 100 decibels when they all put together. The recording shown in figure 5 has a peak that occurs approximately 6.915 hertz. 6.195 hertz. That's what that little bitty one bug can create, that frequency.
Just one of them.
Just one.
Wow.
You're talking to trillions of them.
Yeah, shit.
So you seeing what the frequency that we're walking and living in and breathing in while we're moving through this from May to June. That's all they do. And then they're going to disappear and go away. But we won't see this many in 200, not in our generation, our great-grandchildren. There'll be another 200 years before this will happen again. And see, this is what the science and they had the secret of the cicadas, the high-resolution image and revolve, and how the insect is able to generate such incredible loud sounds. And this is the symbol for theta, because according to John Lynden, also known as John Lindus, a 6th century Byzantine writer, the symbol of the very similar theta was used to describe what? The cosmos, cosmic consciousness. It was a symbol to use to describe cosmos. In the ancient Egyptian, this symbol was comprised of a snake representing the anaconda or the anacondaemia across the fiery circles representing, it's like the Orpheus, the snake that's swallowing his tail. Okay, the sun disk in the ancient Egyptian culture is basically the same with one of the earlier forms of theta symbols, a dot, because the represented the sun, the circle with the dot in it. And so the circle with the dot in the middle, the ancient Greeks also used the theta letter as a symbol of death. See, they took what we do life, they gonna change it and make it death. And the death symbol, and it is locked into a little bit like the human skull. And so it was also used by the Greeks as an abbreviation of the word death, Thanos. And see, this is where the frequency of theta, and look who they got there showing it. This is sister, her voice, radiating that frequency, that theta frequency. All right. The theta activity, the frequency 3.5 to 7.5 hertz, classical slow activity, and it is seen to connect daydreaming, fantasies, and repositories of memory. Repository of memory. That's activating your mitochondria DNA. It's activating that Akashic record by us going through for these next 2 months, this month and next month, being given that frequency at the height of what it does from sun up to sundown. This is activating every person on the eastern side Akashic record.
Wow. So okay. Sunrises and sunsets is very important the next 2 months, huh?
Right. But even in sunrise, they gonna come up and they gonna be making that sound and they gonna be having their ritual.
Yeah.
Okay. And in reflection of the state in between the wakefulness and the sleep, it relates to the individual. It is abnormal in awake adolescent. It is abnormal in awake adults, but it's preferably normal in children up to 13. Why? Because that's when you go from
the theta,
the spiritual, that adolescence comes in, your testosterone changes, your hormones changes. All of that activation is a transformation of becoming an adolescent. What does the youngest one stay down there? 13 years. They go down as neophytes. So they come up as juveniles, ready to reproduce. It takes them 13 years staying as a neophyte in the earth, eating roots and microbes, and eating that to build up that body that's going to come up in 13 years, or it's going to come up in 17 years, or it's going to come up, but they're going to reproduce. Okay, the 13-year-old. It is also normal to reflect the activity of the lymphatic system, the hypochondria, okay, let me get the word right. Hypochondria. But anyway, the brain region.
What, hippocampus? Is that?
No, it's not the campus. Hippocampus regions, but that's the same area. This is observed in anxiety, behavioral, and it reflects activities in the lymphatic system. I'm reading the same thing over. Observe behavioral activity inhibitions, and the theta rhythm appears to function normally in meditations, and it promotes the activity of complex learning and memory. So what you're doing now is you're learning how to calm yourself, how to go in, how to make that transformation from within. Just as the cicada goes into the earth and makes that transformation and grows 13 years or 17 years, it grows and it germinates in order to come back up and restart the cycle. And this 200-year cycle is what we are in. This is why I felt it had to be said, because yes, cicadas come, they have little brews that come up every now and then, but not in this magnitude. And it's very important because this is a great cosmic shift, because it's another thing that goes with the 221 years. You go back 27 years from that, the country was in 1776. Pluto was in what? Aquarius when this country was founded. Where's Pluto right now? Retrograde in what?
What, Aquarius?
In Aquarius. As above, so below.
Dang.
It's the cycle. And so they're in tune. These little bitty creatures are in tune to the cycle of the above. And this is how they move, and that this is what they're doing as far as their behavior. Because the cicadas in mythology and culture appearing in the ancients, the indigenous people knew. Our ancestors here on Turtle Island knew about these cicadas, and they knew that when they came, there were certain things and rituals and ceremonies that had to be done in order to synchronize their people with growing what the cicadas was bringing up out of the earth. And because these sacred insects mirror the human and the expression, your most authentic self. This is telling us to go in and look and see who we are. This is the mirror that we have to look into to see how to make this transformation, not what someone else has put out there, but what's the mirror inside. And so the spiritual meaning of the cicada transform, you can go on this is on YouTube. This is the person, it's a YouTube, the true spiritual animal. This is where I got part of these presentations from. The spiritual meaning of cicadas, symbols and transformation for rebirth. All right, and that's what I wanted to share with him, Rich, because I see it's a very important part. We're dealing with a very high part of our own spiritual growth and development. And I want to pay honor to Baba Bay. He was a master drummer. He crossed over last Thursday. I went in the hospital last Friday. And I'm surprised I'm sitting here and had double pneumonia, and I'm sitting here talking like I ain't had no pneumonia. But what we're seeing is, and you know me now, we got to look at what?
Eco-shamanism?
Right.
Because
we're dealing with the earth. We dealing, and see, shaman stands for a spiritual helper. A spiritual helper assisting minds, a spiritual awakening minds, assisting nature. That's what a shaman stands for. And so when we're talking about the eco, that's talking about the earth. This is where these cicadas are coming from, because we're going back into divine intelligence. And that's what part we have to look at. And I think Aquarius Maximus was talking about spiritology. And see, we're having to go back to spiritology because they use psychology to get this behavior control in which they've been using. And what they did with that behavior control is the word called epistemicide. Epistemicide is taking away the knowledge, ceremonies, and things in which you use to better your people and to bring yourselves to your higher selves. When you give them something that is not themselves, you are creating almost a genocide, because you're killing the spirit of the people. And so we're looking at, how do we look at eco-shamanism? Is because we're looking at the self, and the self deals with know thyself, and the self deals with the spiritual energy lives forever. Self stands for lives forever, but you got to know how to keep the spirit connected. That's why we talk about spiritual, the rituals, the ceremonies, the modalities, the food, the culture. All of these are tools for this transformation that these cicadas are bringing to us, and let us know that, just imagine if you had to stay in the earth for 13 years, just eating off of the roots and the nutrients inside of the earth until you can boil your way back up and recreate yourself again and shell off that skeleton, and then begin the process of making yourself anew, setting your wings free. And it's most important, because I've been going to Clubhouse a couple of times, and I met some folks in there, and they got an excellent room that they're reading a book in which we're dealing with the sacred feminine. And the first one started off with Mary Magdalene. And the other one that we've been dealing with this is, and there's so much truth in this book about the great cosmic mother, because it talks about our women as the first goddesses. And we have to get back to understanding and identify who our women are and what were the powers of them, because this this patriarchal system is trying to keep this foothold on them staying alive, but it's not going to happen, because when those cicadas mate, that female impregnates, she has about 600 eggs, and what she does is she does not put them all up in the, she finds a small branch closest to the ground, and what she'll do is bore a little enough to put her 600 eggs in, because she know when they hatch, they're going to drop off, fall to the earth. They're going to dig their way back into the earth. They're going to fall to the earth, and they're going to dig their way back into the earth, and they're going to stay there those 13 or whatever years. And so it's through that. But the thing that happens with it is they nurture off the roots of the tree, and they only come up to one branch and start the life over again. The tree of life. The tree of life. They start from the root, from the microbial, the wood wide web, and then they come up and they mate with their male who's got the strongest beat. And he's got the strongest beat, so that means that he can create the strongest of what she needs to make those 600 eggs, because those trillions of cicadas that up, everything is eating cicadas. I mean, all of the creatures, all the animals, all the birds, everybody, that world eats up cicadas, but they have enough to where they can give up that part in feeding that which is up on the earth, but enough of it so they can go back and recreate themselves again.
Shit, Kwame, I could imagine some coaches eat the cicadas, all that nutrients they get for 17 years.
They do, because what they've done now is that the cicada is like eating a larva. It's nothing but protein. It has no poisons or nothing in it. It's just been eating roots and microbials. It's nothing but pure nutrients. So you see people now that they're taking them and catching them, getting them, and then they take them and roast them like peanuts.
Right.
Because it's protein. You need the earth energy.
Right.
You out here buying some artificial food made on a 3D printer.
Oh, man.
So
yeah, they got them nutrients, man. How many of y'all will eat one of those, man? Shit. Y'all eating shrimp and shit out there, man.
But see, when I was talking about, and see, we have to look at something. The Pluto generation, this is what we're looking at. These generations right here, millennials, Gen X, and Gen Z. They're going to be the generation seeing what's going on in Pluto. Because me as a baby boomer, I'm an elder. I'm getting ready to become an ancestor. So the thing that I'm attempting to do is I've seen this before. As far as these broods coming up, I haven't seen all three of them coming, but I've seen the magnitude of cicadas. And the thing that happens, you just think, Rich, 13 years ago, you go back to a place where you used to run around and play in the grass and do that. I guarantee you it's a building or some concrete over that place so those cicadas can't come up.
Right.
And this is what they're doing. This is why they call it urban. That means is you're banned from nature. They're putting asphalt and concrete over the mother frequency of the earth, because the cicadas, even in that 6 point hertz, they're electrifying the human frequency in the earth by all of them being in one grouped area in the forest on these trees and transmitting that frequency that's going into the electrical grid of the earth.
So, Kwame, do you think with this emergence, for the first time in 221 years, are we going to see a spike in the human resonance like we've never seen before?
We've had with the beginning, especially around the winter solstice and that, because we were having solar flares to where the Schumann frequency went from 7.82 to 45 megahertz. Because of the sun is in the solar maximum for the next 11 years. So that's why you see these cicadas coming up at sunrise and cutting off at sunset. Because when we had that last eclipse across, and that's where it crisscrossed right there in Illinois, and we're still, the majority of United States population is still on the East Coast.
Any connection between the eclipse that recently happened and the cicadas?
Yeah, it just energized, because what it did was it just activated the grid. And so it just gave energy to them laying there waiting to get ready to come up. But they have to have the correct temperature. It has to be above 60 something degrees. They won't come up until the weather's warm. That's why they don't come out in May and June.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was because that's the time of what? Spring, when you plant and grow. This is a time of mating. The animals' instincts know when to mate. This is why they come up and mate, make all this noise. It's because they're getting ready to recreate the frequency so we can remake ourselves transformation.
Should we emulate them when we see them mating? Should it be like, oh shit, it's time to get my girl pregnant? Should we mate? No?
No, see, that's what we get wrong. That's lust.
Mm-hmm.
Sex stands for SEX, spiritual energy exchange.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the highest of frequency without having to be physical with a male and a female.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand how to balance your energy, that's why I went back to this. Because these are the ones who has the energy and the understanding. The thing that we did the last chapter was talking about, and I thought Sister Jan, but we talked about the language. And in the language, the mother is the language, because the mother, when she's out here sorting out the vegetables and getting stuff out of forage or food out of the, she's got to know how to tell the child, that's poison, this is good for you, this will make you hallucinate. So she's got to be the language. That's why it's called mother wit. Because the woman teaches. And in here, it talked about science proved the thing back in 1951, and then they covered it up and hid it, because the first 2 months of an embryo is female until it goes into the next trimester, and then it forms. Either it's going to not create a phallus or it won't create a phallus. And so this is the whole thing of being able to understand the divine feminine, because we're going back with the behavior control of psychology, dealing with what Freud said is the id, the ego, and the superego. You heard of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the id, really, Freud took it and turned everything around. The id is the idea, it should be the DI, the divine intelligence. The divine intelligence is what we are. We're divine intelligence. And so the ego, everybody say, oh, that's easing God out. No, change the word. G-E-O, Geo, Earth. This is what we're all on.
Mm.
It don't take a rocket science. Ego is Earth, Geo.
Wow. Never heard it put that way.
Right. And then when you say super ego, you just respell the word. This is why we got to start wordsmithing. You just take super and make it the purest geo. Because we're on the purest of the earth. Our homeland, our motherland was the purest. It was the richest. It's still the richest. this is the richest land. Because these cicadas keep coming up and reproducing it and energizing the consciousness.
This is not an American thing with the cicadas, though, right?
Yeah, that's this America, because this is where this whole thing, they got them in other countries, but the whole eastern board, because this is where all of the trees and forests and farmland, all of that out west was deserts and mountains. It wasn't green like this. You go across the Mississippi, it starts getting browner and browner and lighter and more sand and more mountains.
Right.
You don't have the green. This is the energy. This is what I was talking about, the energy of the trees.
Right.
Right. Epistemicide, because that's an art that they've now brought back in Japan. It's called forest bathing. We talk about grounding, earthing, and doing that. But do you know, just walking in the forest, oak trees, pine trees, walnut trees, maple trees, the aroma from that will boost your immune system, calm your blood pressure, and ground you, all by just walking in the trees.
Wow. Forest bathing.
Forest bathing. And the art is, and the thing is called PHYTONCIDES. I'll see if you can see it.
Full time. Biden's okay.
Forest, right. Forest bathing. And it's the medicine. Because you take a willow tree. You could take a willow tree, peel the bark off of it, and that's what you make aspirins from. It's a
right.
You try and you just came down to Georgia. What's the first thing happen come spring when you walk outside and look at your car?
Pollen.
Right, pine pollen. Go in the health food store and try to buy a jar of pine pollen. It's going to cost you, because the pine is called the evergreen, because when the pine is the first one to release its pollen to pollinate all the others, to give them permission to go ahead and release your pollen. That's why in the city, they always keep male trees in the city, because if you have females, it will pollinate and produce fruit. You don't want that. You want to create allergies.
Wait a minute. Let me try to understand, because that was my next question. Why are so many people allergic to pollen? So let's rewind that. So what you're saying, a certain pollen produces allergies?
No, because you have seen pollen, when it's released, you have to have the opposite. So if you release a sperm and you ain't got no woman, you ain't gonna produce no kids.
Right, exactly. And that's what's happening with the pollen.
And the pollen just goes and then it clogs you up. And once it clogs you up, your body begins to fight. But see, the thing that happened with it is what? We always had beekeepers, because the bees would take the pollen to make the antidote for the allergy reaction. Nature is a medicine chest. It ain't CVS and Walgreens. See, when you walk in the forest, the farm you see in the forest is not the farm you see on the corner. Because those are plant medicine. That's medicine. That whole forest is medicine. That's why we're learning how to food sovereignty. This is why we're learning to forage again. Going back and digging and getting from the earth. Not from these factories. And the indigenous now are saying, and their food sovereignty, it said you should not eat anything that is not in its own packaging.
Yeah. Kwame, how did you get your name? A little off topic. Let me say this. Hold on, Kwame. Let me just say this. You teaching today. And I just looked at the bottom of the screen. I said, how does dude get that name? Because goddamn it, you tapped in, brother. How you get what's the origin of your name? Kwame Sunhorse.
Kwame is good name. I was born Saturday. I was initiated into the Han by Dr. Anthony Menza in Chicago in 1986. And Kwame means that I'm a defender of the past, one who brings peace to troubled water, one who has a spiritual mission but does not have to belong to a church. My indigenous name was given to me as a sun dancer by the Dakota Nation, and my name is Sunkawankawi. There was no name for horse, so they called the dog Sunka. Sunka means dog, spirit dog. Spirit Sunkawanka is spirit dog, and we is the word for sun, and Hanwi is the word for moon.
Okay. Very interesting, my brother. Very interesting. What do you think about one more question, a little off topic? So many people on the internet saying America was the original Egypt.
Okay. And it's this whole thing, see the whole concept of everybody keeps saying about Pangea. We broke apart and there were many parts of this whole. And part of us were here and part of us went over there in the splitting of Pangea. And so just like when we had the eclipse across America, in Carbondale, Illinois is called Little Egypt. It's because in the 1800s, the farmers would grow crops and grain in southern Illinois. And so the people from Chicago and up north would come down and get the grain just like they did in Egypt. But then the other part you had is because you have Karnak, which is the seat of magic, Thebes, Cairo, and let's see, Karnak, Thebes, Cairo, and Little Egypt. But then the thing that happens with it is because that's the resident of Cahokia, which was the first city of the Mississippians there on the Mississippi River. And then you go down the Mississippi, which is the Nile in the west, and you go to what? Memphis.
Right. Let me ask you this about the cicadas. A lot of people are saying this is a biblical prophecy, and I'm hearing the word locust.
They're not.
No,
totally different species.
Okay.
Two totally different species. Locusts eat up everything and grass and all of that. That's why you have them and call it a plague.
Right.
Cicadas are not that. They eat in the earth. So they've eaten 13 years in the earth. They ain't coming up flying around eating up a cornfield.
Right. Well, Kwame, if they're affecting humans and giving us a certain frequency, certain vibration, what are they doing to the animals?
They're also doing that also because cosmic consciousness inundates the whole planet. That's why we've now found that we've got 4 dwarf planets in our Kuiper belt on the outskirts of our solar system. You've got Meka, you've got Setna, which is the goddess of the Arctic. She is the daughter that her father was trying to avoid a storm and she fell off. He cut her fingers off. She went underwater. She became the goddess of the orcas, the sea lions, and all the seals, all the things in the Arctic. But her name is spelled Sedna. See the DNA. And then Setna, in the part of her being this goddess and the reawakening, she only comes around into the alignment with our solar system every 11,400 years.
Right.
So we're now in the part of the Milky Way to where we're back at a point where we were 11,400 years ago.
Come on, man. For real?
Yes. Because you got remember I showed you the theta symbol?
Yeah.
There's a planet, a dwarf planet. It's an oval shape, just like that egg of that symbol, and it's called it's a volcano goddess that grew the islands of Hawaii, and they named it after her. And so you're looking at something. Then you got Ceres, and then you got Meka. So you got 4 planets with our 9 that gives us what? 13 planets.
Wow. Man, Kwame, let me before, because I want to get to some Q&A. The chat is booming tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I want to get some questions from the family. I know you're enjoying this, but first I want to share the brother Kwame's Cash App. Family, y'all know it's very important that we show our elders love while they're here and not wait for them to leave and then talk about how much we love and miss them. Wait. Oh no, Kwame. Let me just get this right, y'all. Because I don't want
$sign Kwame son.
Yeah, I don't want to scam or get in the Cash App. All right, y'all. The Cash App is in the chat. Make sure y'all show our elder brother. Come on, man. This elder brother ain't slow down for 1 minute. We've been on for 45 minutes. The brother ain't slow down 1 minute. He took a few swigs of water, and that was about it. Let's show this elder love so he can know how the family from 363 gets down. The brother's Cash App is $ Kwame Sun. That's KWAMESUN. Show the brother some loves for clearing up the confusion that we're hearing about the locusts and everything on the cicadas, and just provide I feel energized. The brother talk after the brother talk, man. Like this is an energizing conversation, Kwame.
So when you go out now and you go out and you hear that white noise, and you know that you're getting theta waves, in a different frequency. Now you can tune into you.
Yes, sir. There you go. You know, I was going to ask you, Kwame. So obviously, a lot of us are outside every day. A lot of us, we have to work and do things, go outside. So you're saying this frequency, if we're not paying attention to it, it's not affecting us?
It's still downloading you because it's white noise. It's just like you don't hear. It's just like you used to traffic noise. You use power lines. That's white noise. You subliminally in your subconscious receive it, and that's where you want this at. Because your subconscious holds 90% of your conscious, and you only use 10%. So if you getting that download with that frequency of theta, you're walking in meditation.
Kwame, what's the, when the TV networks and entertainment, they got something that they call prime time. Well, they used to, when TV was popping, they would have something called prime time. Prime time was when the biggest and the best shows came on television and it was broadcast and we sat down and we watched TV. What's nature's prime time when the biggest and the best frequencies are broadcast to us and we could download them? What is nature's prime time? Because I know TV's prime time.
Nature's prime time is that what we just had. We have eclipses.
No, the time of the day in a 24-hour span.
That 24 hours of a day is high noon.
High noon,
because see, the thing is, you break your fast when you get up in the morning if you eat. Because you fast while you've been sleeping. And so what is your body is building itself back up. That's why you will ingest around noon and then regress because you're going to burn it up, come and go on the rest of the day. Because see, cicada and circadian. Cicada.
Ooh, there you go. You started. You started. You started that shit. I like that. Oh, this one of them, y'all. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
When you the sun goes down, your circadian rhythm, melatonin releases, your body rests, rejuvenates, fires back up. Sun's frequency start. It don't even have to be daylight. Just the frequency of the light coming activates the human.
Yeah.
And the melatonin shuts off. Activation consciousness awakens alpha, moving up the state gamma, theta, up into alpha.
Indeed.
And there you are.
Yeah.
Circadian rhythm, circadians.
Oh man, let's give me some questions in the chat, yo. We got about 10 minutes left. Give me some questions in the chat for the brother Kwame Sunhorse. And once again, make sure you'll show him some Cash App love.
I want to when you want to look at something, see, we mapped the skies out.
Yeah.
The indigenous people here, we had already mapped the sky. And I got one here with the Egyptian calendar. So we've been mapping the heavens. This is why these new dwarf planets, are we realigning with them? But with these activations of these planets, Pluto in Aquarius, cicadas arise in all three. You see the balance as above, so below. 248 years, 221 years.
Somebody asked about your Cash App. Yeah, his name Jimmy Lackey, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's the right Cash App. That's it.
That's
They just there's just so many scammers on
I know.
on Instagram. You have to be real careful. They got like 10 different variations of my name. They try to trick the people when it's to try to get their money. Let me put his Cash App up on the up on the screen again for those who want to make sure they get the spelling right. This elder has dropped the science tonight. Stuff you're not gonna hear on the majority of the internet. I want to get to this question here. I got to see a question that I'm interested in. All right, Kwame, they want to know, can you explain the difference in color? They're saying something about the blue-eyed ones being different.
Well, you talk about what Jane Elliott talks about, the melanemics. And that
the cicadas, the different cicadas.
Oh, the difference. There really is the red eyes once they come up, and once they come out of their exoshell, when they come out, it's like a butterfly in a cocoon. They come out, they almost albino, and that's the neophyte, and so that's when they return back into the earth, and so these are the ways in which you have the differentiations in it, because once they crack that shell and they come out just like the crystals does, the caterpillar, the crystals into the butterfly, it does that without having to hang up like a caterpillar, have to hang in the sun and get 360 degrees and transform that way. These just come out and they begin to do that automatically.
Right.
They break out of their shell and then they start the process. They get their new wings and they mate and then they die.
Yeah, brother said this time went by like 15 minutes. Yeah, didn't this hour go by fast, y'all? This hour was, I agree, brother. This was definitely like 15 minutes. This hour went by fast.
Well, when you drop in truth, what goes from the heart comes to the heart, and the energy of it is that this is why I see these programs of an hour, but we need classes to where we gonna have to be able to start having. Remember, I was talking to you before about the Overground Railroad.
Yeah.
Okay, the Overground Railroad is the Milky Way, and over us is the Milky Way, and we're getting alignments with all of these planets and all of this energy and the sun's coronal mass ejections, all of this alignment. And what we're needing to do, as Harriet did when she was following the drinking gorge or the Big Dipper, which is in here, and Native Americans got it as the drinking gourd too. And the thing was that that is the Seven Sisters, the Big Dipper. And so what we got to do is be able to come back and get up under those stars, round the campfire, have the ceremony, cook our food, let our children run and play in nature. Because we got to create oases. We're getting ready to have in September Nature's Garden over in Alabama. We're going to have the festival in September, and she's got 47 acres. She done took 15 of the acres and she built 3 A-frame houses for a bed and breakfast, and we got a big stage to perform on, and all of the people in the community has been helping the students with agriculture because all of them got gardens there. That's why it's called Nature's Garden. And the agriculture department at Tuskegee, where she retired from, and big shout out to Muja. And this is what we have to do, create oases. our ancestor spirit in service. OASIS, our ancestor spirit in service. When we come to the land, our ancestors are waiting. We got an unemployment line of ancestors in the land that we don't go back and visit.
Damn. You know, I got an idea I've been sitting on. I got to run by you. I've been waiting for the perfect person to implement it with. And what you just said, I think you that person. So I'm gonna call you after this, probably tomorrow, because I'm gonna relax after. I'm gonna call you tomorrow, and I want to run something by you real quick. But yeah, I'm digging what you're saying, Elder. I'm digging what you're saying.
Yeah, and this is why I'm out here in the woods, because I'm on 2 acres now. I got a sweat lodge in back of my trailer here. I got a whole river, only river and a lake out across the street.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. This brother said, "Where have the stars gone?" Was in the Caribbean in a dark location. Clear night, no stars, moon only. This brother saying he don't know where the stars is at. I see the stars. What's going on, Kwame?
Well, and the part of it is when you have what they call distorted light. Okay, you just like in the city, you can see a few stars because you have the street lights, you got the building lights, you got the distortion light. But if you go outside where it's pitch black, you can see the whole Milky Way. 3 o'clock in the morning, no light distortion. You can see the whole Milky Way. And so this is what we're having to get back to. The energy is still coming, but it's just distorted. That's why I'm saying the 6 hertz specifically right now, they knew this was coming. They knew it. 2024, they knew by calculation that this was going to happen. They already have the science and know this is what these insects, they're getting ready to come at. We got to put the 5G, we got to put everything in place to interfere before it gets here.
Wow. Battle of the frequencies, huh?
Yes, they going for the mind because this is what because you look at the activation of what has happened, the conscious shifting that's going on right now in the heavens. And that's why they're trying to create these smart cities. They're trying to create all of these algorithms and all of this, because all it is the new Jim Code. This is all it is, racism and technology. Ruha Benjamin wrote an excellent book on it. Because they just took out of the South, they took Jim Crow, sent it to Silicon Valley, changed it to Jim Code. Now we got codes that make it racism as it was and saying no color.
Whew. Man, what you been doing lately, man?
Me, I just
how you get this much energy and you just got out the hospital, man? You got some.
I'm living here with the. That's what I say. When I come back in this forest, it's a recharge.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Somebody wants to know how much are you got workshops? How much are your workshops? They want to know.
I don't do workshops. I mean, if you invite me to come and do your workshop, we can negotiate something and I can come, because I have presentations on just about any subject that you kind of want to deal with. I've got the one I just told you about. I've got the DI on TI. I've got Clicking and Picket, which deals with the fiber optics from picking cotton to clicking on smartphones. It's one fiber industry. I've got, the underground the overground railroad. I mean, I've got a hold on a minute. If I can get this to work.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, by the way. Definitely enjoyed this show tonight. I'm gonna have Infodici on Friday. I'm not gonna be on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna upload a meditation track, family. Tune in tomorrow night for a meditation track that y'all can all vibe out to in the nighttime. And Friday I'm gonna have Infodici and Ross Ben on live.
Oh, Ross coming back. How my brother doing?
Yeah. Shout out to Hank. They've suspended Hank's channel, YouTube. So Hank is gonna be down for a week.
Okay.
He was from an old video. He was talking about, that thing that happened in 2020 that they would shut all our channels down from.
Right.
They hit him with a strike on his channel. So Hank, they still on that BS. But shout out to Hank. Make sure you support the brother Hank. But then for these to be back here. Yeah, brother.
This is the one DI on TI versus AI causing MI, mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got, from pick it to click it. This is where from picking cotton to clicking on that, because it's all dealing with fiber optics. Rights in the slave trading, the Jihad, Black Lives Matter. Oh, that was recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Eye centers. Okay, this is a good one. The children. This is the one that really got started at school up in Maryland. The children of two shields. Mumu Fresh. You heard her?
No.
She's a rapper. She Mumu Fresh.
Okay.
Her name is Mumia Youssef. But anyway, Mumia's mother was Choctaw, and she gave us a prophecy. Her grandmother gave us the prophecy that the Choctaw said that the children of two shields would come back together on Turtle Island, the red and the black, and we will begin the next phase of our spiritual war, because we tried it with the shields of war. Now we have to use the shields of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
wow.
But those are some of the things that I do.
Indeed, amazing. How can the people contact you, Kwame Sunhorse? How can they contact you?
Sunhorse at gmail.com.
Yeah, so y'all see his name on the screen, just Kwame Sunhorse at gmail.com. Yeah, spelled the same way. Kwame Sunhorse at gmail.com. Right. Man, make sure y'all hit him up on Cash App, like I said earlier. Cash App, $ Kwame Sunhorse. Let me see if I'm gonna try to get one more question in. I'm gonna get one more question in, Kwame. Let me see if I see a good one. Give me a good one, y'all. I want to let y'all talk in the chat. Oh, well, somebody mentioned earlier. Let me just bring this up. Somebody, oh shit, I got some questions right here. Hold on. New Diamond said something interesting. She said, "Is this why my ears been ringing? Is the cicadas responsible for any ringing in our ears? Because that's been talked about."
That right there is frequency. The earth frequency is doing that. You're
right.
getting what was called ascension disorder.
Yeah.
And the other part is that can be a frequency, because you're getting activated, and in that activation, you're getting, your body is doing something that it's not used to getting, that theta wave, and that much every day, all day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're shifting.
Right. Somebody want to know about being an X-Men and having superpowers. They said they said, are we X-Men? Are we waiting for fighting in the end game? Will we become X-Men with the upgrades?
Well, the part of it is all super beings, and the part of it is that you have to find the universe within you that gives you your power.
Right. The universe within us. The innerverse, huh?
The innerverse.
Yeah, man. Well, Kwame, man, I gotta get you on here again soon, man. You've been ducking me for about a year now, man. Why you been ducking me? Man?
On the road, my mom died at 6, man, and that's why.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, when she died, it's like this Mother's Day is coming up Sunday. This is the first time in my life that
man,
Mother's Day, and she's not on the planet. But I
still. Indeed. Bless her soul. Soul. Indeed. Anything else you want to tell the people before we get out of here tonight, Kwame?
No, but I think, and this is the new moon, and I'm grateful we did this, because yesterday was the new moon, and you see what you want to see grow and bring to light with the energy of this activation of these frequencies of theta. Write out what your dreams, make your vision board, put your consciousness to its highest level, and see what you manifest.
Yo, Kwame, let me ask you this. I noticed the other day, in my front yard, I got the grass cut on Saturday, so my grass is very low. And I noticed the other day that the mushrooms was growing in my front yard. Is that because
it's good?
Okay, so that's a good sign.
That's good. That's good. Because this is what, see, fungus lets you know that the earth is reproducing itself, and whatever's decaying is starting to grow again. That's all mushrooms do, is it takes decay and it begins to grow again and just keeps it continuing. It does never die. Didn't you see Fantastic Fungi?
No, I never seen that. No.
Type in Fantastic Fungi and watch that movie. Documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody said ground. Yeah, I've been grounding. Yeah, I've been grounding by them, y'all. I definitely been grounding by them. Somebody said don't eat them. They said don't eat those much. I didn't eat them.
They've got apps now that you can take, especially now that everybody's shrooning. You can get them and take a picture of it and tell you if it's good or not good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. But okay, Kwame. Yeah, we're gonna talk soon, man. I gotta call you tomorrow because we gotta set some stuff up. I gotta tell you what an idea I got. It's an explosive idea. It's gonna. I got a couple of things coming up, Kwame. I got something in August, Kwame. I got something. Family, let me just tell y'all this. I got an announcement I'm about to make. It'll probably be the biggest thing the conscious community ever seen. This is happening in August in Georgia, in Atlanta. So I will let y'all know. I will let y'all know soon. Probably next week or 2 weeks from now. But save y'all money. If y'all able to come down, it's gonna be the biggest event ever. So I'll let y'all know that in about 2 weeks. But Kwame, I want to thank you, my brother. Thank you so much, man. I mean, a magnificent show. Let me come back on camera to tell my brother thank you, man. I want to thank you, my brother, for a magnificent show. And I gotta talk to you tomorrow. Everybody, make sure y'all hit the brother up on Cash App, $. Let me put his name up. $. His name is right there. Kwame Sunhorse. $. Kwame Sunhorse. Show this elder some love. Show them how we get down on Black Magic 363. Somebody said Blueprint 3. No. That's next year. Blueprint 3 is next year. That's next year, y'all. It's not that. It's another announcement. But yeah, man. Thank you, Kwame. I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow. Family, thank you for tuning in. See everybody next time. All right, peace.